ready. This is going to be exciting.
And we got career starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Race number 5 here at Long Beach, California. We've had 4 races so far with 4 different winners. Will there be a 5th one tonight here at Long Beach, or will the walls make somebody's night really bad? Anyway, welcome to the Goat Locker MK Fire Design Sports Car Series presented by Zach Graphics right here on VSPEED, your #1 source of online race coverage. And of course, tonight's race is being brought to you by MK Fire Design. MK Fire Design is a design company that specializes in custom wooden flags, shirts, hoodies, and hats. And also being brought to you by Zach Graphics. We can put your design on almost anything. And Save 22, fighting first responder and veteran suicide. Ken Huber in the booth, solo again, once again tonight. I got Tim Jones on production, and the cameras are being provided by Dougie Beard. So here we are, Long Beach, California. I've waited for this one. We've got about 27 cars so far, about ready to get their qualifying laps in. Long Beach is a kind of a tricky track. It's enclosed, but it's a lot of fun. It brings a lot of drivers out. Very historic course. We're going to talk about that. But why don't we talk about this season schedule? Like I'd mentioned, that we're in the 5th race of the season. And next week, we're going to find ourselves at the 24-hour Daytona, which is actually only going to be 2 hours. But we're going to have the time turned up on that one. It's going to be 2 hours of a Daytona. We don't know what the weather is going to bring. But as I understand it, we could have some transitioning from day to night and vice versa. So I don't know how that's going to go. But then we go to Laguna. And you can see the back half of the schedule coming up as we're nearly about a quarter way into this schedule. And we're going to finish this series out at Monza in December, right before Christmas. So anyway, well, since we're here at Long Beach, let's talk about it. The current Long Beach circuit is a 1.9-mile road course laid out in the city streets surrounding the Long Beach Convention Center. The track is particularly noted for its last section, a sharp hairpin turn followed by a slightly curved front straightaway which runs the length of Shoreline Drive. Also, turn 2, otherwise known as a fountain turn, brings more character and art to the track. And as you roll down the backstretch, also known as East Side Way, it passes under the Hyatt Regency Center. The circuit is situated on the Long Beach waterfront and is lined with palm trees, especially along the front straightaway towards the Aquarium of the Pacific, making for a scenic track as well as providing for high-intensity racing. And I think that's what we're going to see tonight. You know, if everybody makes it through turn 1 tonight, that's kind of the hope. You know, it's a tricky corner. Everybody's going to line up. So as they come around the final corner, which I mentioned is a hairpin turn, the cars have to get really slow and let the whole field catch up because you have to go through the hairpin single file. And then they'll get the green flag, and they're all going to charge down to turn 1. And turn 1 is going to be tricky. And I've watched these guys here at Goat Locker, some of the best in iRacing here at Long Beach, and I've raced with these guys, and for the most part, it's been really clean here. So I have high hopes for this one being no different, and we shouldn't see any cautions, I'm hoping. But we'll find out. Anyway, some race statistics for Long Beach are as follows. The race length will be 1 hour. We have a pit road speed of 40 miles an hour, and they'll have unlimited tire sets with one fast repair. Cars will start out with 50% fuel on an iRacing fixed setup. One thing about fuel strategy here, is that these guys will be able to go probably about 40 minutes on the half tank of fuel, and then they'll be able to come back in and top off to finish the race out. However, they will be able to fill the tanks all the way if necessary. So if they wanted to, they could pit almost immediately. So if you're in the back of the field, you might see some guys pit right at the drop of the green flag on the very next lap to come in, fill up the tank, and that'll bring them the rest of the way. And that'll clear them out of the traffic. So be some interesting strategy as the night progresses, I'm sure. So while we got an extra few minutes here, we still got 2 minutes of qualifying. Why don't we talk about our latest Warrior Spotlight? Here's our latest Warrior Spotlight and 12th sim rig recipient, John Lawless. John Lawless served in the United States Air Force for 22 years as a hydraulic maintenance. He completed 5 deployments to Korea, 2 deployments to Iraq, Sicily, and Turkey. He worked on multiple platforms like the U-2, the H-60G, the HC-130, and we are proud to have John as a member of of the Goat Locker family. And it's really cool what Goat Locker does. Like I said, this is a 12th sim rig recipient, easy for me to say, but it's really cool. Goat Locker gives these rigs away so these veterans can come out, spend some time with us racing in a virtual environment, kind of get their minds off of maybe some of the problems they have, or maybe it's a lack of funding. It allows them to have another hobby, another outlet, and be able to hang around with their fellow veterans. A lot of us here, I mean, your announcer right here is a former Army veteran, the producer as well. So, you know, a big veteran crew here at Goat Locker, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Anyway, we're looking for an hour of intense racing here tonight. We still got about 30 seconds of qualifying left. Gardner was the fastest during practice, and so far he's at the top of the leaderboard. But these guys are going to have a few more minutes of qualifying left. As the ticker runs, I believe they have like 25 seconds left. So there's still time for some of these guys to get their laps in. I'm just looking at Samuel Egg, see if he's still out on the track. And he is. And Samuel Egg is currently running second. Seeing if he can take that Jam Pole Printing and Promotion Pole Award from Jeremy Gardner, who's currently holding on to that. As we watch these cars go down the backstretch, and that's a neat view that we got from the cameras there. You just seen them going under the Hyatt Regency Center, and this is the hairpin turn. A nice angle as they come around the corner. And these guys have to be very careful getting on the throttle as they're coming through first gear. And then, of course, there's our fountain turn with the 2 dolphins or 3 dolphins there. That I'd mentioned during the top of the broadcast area. A unique term, doesn't really offer passing opportunities, but it is a visually aesthetic pleasing on the track. So as we're winding down qualifying, we still got, so the official 15 minutes have passed for qualifying. However, they still get another minute and a half to try to get their last lap in if they've already crossed the line before the checkered came out. So these are just the last few guys trying to get their qualifying laps in. So interesting of note, we've had 4 different winners. I want to talk about those guys really quick. Tyler Merritt won the first race of the season at Indy, and then Jed Cotterman followed it up with an exciting win there at Watkins Glen. And then Derek Terhams, in the rain and in the dark, wins week 3 at VIR with an incredible finish there. That was a heck of a race. And then we had a new driver last week, Road Atlanta, Mason Cardinale, won that race. So exciting race there. So we've had quite an exciting season. And I'm just looking through the standings there, and I don't see any of our race winners in. Oh, Mason Cardinale. So I just lied. So I will say for Mason, though, I don't see him with the qualifying lap so far, and the timer is about to end. He's only got 25 seconds to even get 1 lap in, and so he's going to be starting probably near the back of the field, and he's going to have his work cut out for him to make his way up front tonight. But you never know what can happen here, and especially if we get a caution, say, near the start of the race. Anyway, we're winding down that timer now. As you can see it there at the top left-hand corner there, we are just about to nail your grid in. And there you have it. Our qualifying is complete. And at the top of the leaderboard, the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award will go to Jeremy Gardner, the guy that says he's the big oval racer, and he will get this pole tonight. So he's been telling me that for a while now, but I'm going to have to start calling him a road racer more than an oval racer. Anyway, Samuel Agee been really fast tonight. He's going to start on the outside there in second. Logan Threlkeld with a great start tonight, starting in third. Jake Ham in fourth, another great one for Jake Ham. He's been in the top 10 a lot of weeks, but currently starting fourth tonight. Bobby Germain out there in that fifth position. Tyler Justice is going to be on his outside in the sixth position. Brian Provo, another strong road racer, going to start in seventh with Jamie Lipke on his outside. Tyler Brown will start in the ninth position, and Dustin Wells will start on his outside in 10th. Zachary Menace will start in 11th, with Ian Carney will start on his outside in 12th. Nathan Graham will start in 13th, and Wesley Burke will start in 14th. Samuel Joseph starts in the 15th position. Christopher Scott will start in 16th. Jason Black will start in the 17th position, with James Goshen finishing on his outside in 18th. Eddie Smith way back in the pack tonight, starting in 19th, with Jason Kristen on his outside, starting in 20th. Skylar Daly will start in the 21st position, with Tyler Rice starting in 22nd. Alexander Sexauer will start in the 23rd position, with Kevin Price on his outside in 24th. Matt Lass will start in 25th position, with Mason Cornell, who did not put a qualifying lap time down, will start in 26th. Lucas Lyons will start in 27th, and Darren Price will Darren Price will be on his outside in 28th, with Joshua Unger wrapping out your 29 car field tonight in that number 51 machine. And there you have it. There is our starting grid. We'll see if these cars have started to. They haven't left the starting grid yet. They're still lining up, still gridding up. It looks like that we might have a full pace lap tonight. I'm just looking at this. It looks like they're on the front stretch. Yeah, so we're going to have a full pace lap tonight. So they're just now going into turn one. Or no, I'm sorry, excuse me. They are not going to do a full pace lap. So apologies there. So they're on the back half of this this course, which is just going to look at this really quick. Yeah, so this is East Shoreline Drive that they're getting ready to enter down, and this is where I was talking about. They go into the Hyatt Regency, where that Firestone sign is, so that's their convention center right there. And this is where they dive off into Turn 9. This is one of the better passing zones on the track. Turn 9 is where you start getting ready to enter the front stretch here. It's a hard braking zone as they come down the straightaway here. Much easier to do in the dry. But you can see these guys will get single file to get around the hairpin, because it's kind of tricky at these slow pace speeds running side by side. So we'll watch these guys go single file and get them lined back up right after the hairpin turn. So one of the things is you got to have a really quick set of arms to get through the hairpin when you're up to race speed. So it's a really tricky corner. It's trickier than it looks, but it seems like you just don't have enough wheels sometimes to get the car to come around this corner. You can see everybody get single file here. And we'll get them all stacked back up here for a double file restart. Oh, we got some incidents on pit lane already, or on the hairpin there, as everybody comes to a full stop there trying to get around. Jeremy Gardner's going to lead him to the green flag here just momentarily. And we're not going to get everybody through the hairpin before the green flag comes out, but that's the way Long Beach works, especially on a big field here. And we're green. Jeremy Gardner's taking him down. He's got that outside line right there. Coming down the front stretch, he's going to have the preferred entry going into turn one. And he's followed by Logan Threlkeld in that Porsche, that yellow and red Porsche there. And with Samuel Agee back there in that Mustang, going to try to command on the outside. Can't do it. Threlkeld will grab second place from Agee. So good power move. Is there three wide just behind him going into turn one? As we watch Threlkeld just follow these guys. And now we're watching everybody come through the fountain here, try to get them out single file here. Looks like everybody gets through fairly clean there. There was a little bit of a fender banging, but nobody sideways that I seen. So a very clean start for Long Beach. And you can see the field there. They're getting stretched out single file, and that's kind of what you need to do. I believe we're looking at Brian Provo right now in that Mustang, just following Tyler Justice. Yeah, here we go. Tyler Justice just ahead of him there in that Porsche. Or I'm sorry, Jamie Lipke. Jamie Lipke just ahead of him in that Porsche. And Brian Provo, pretty strong road racer. We'll see if he gets by, but Jamie's been pretty strong out here as of late as well, as they go through the final couple of corners here before hitting the hairpin. As we watch Jeremy Gardner hit the hairpin, and he's going to lead the first lap of this race. Threlkeld has opened up about a 2-car, 3-car car length over Samuel Agee. So Threlkeld starting to put some distance between him and Samuel. And you can see Gardner starting to run away. Almost got a second lead over Threlkeld at the moment. It's a bit deceiving when you come out of the hairpin. You think you can get a run on somebody. You almost never can. It's very difficult to get a run. So this is about the best place you can start catching back up to people is through this section of the track. And this is turns 4, 5, and 6. And we're back on Brian Provo as he's following Jamie Lipke in that green and silver and purple Porsche. And just behind, and then Ham, we're looking at Jake Ham. No, yeah, we're looking at Jake Ham right now. And he's back there in that McLaren, and he's putting pressure on Samuel Agee. Jake Ham has looked really strong tonight. So Samuel Agee, one of the faster guys during practice, is starting to feel all kinds of pressure tonight already. So we'll watch him as they go through the final couple of corners here. This is a very tricky section of the track. You got to be careful. You kind of think you can put the throttle down here, but if you do it too hard, you end up getting sideways through here up on the curb. And then as they enter the hairpin, and you can see it looks like he's not going to be able to get away with there. We got Brian Provo off pace here. Looking at the replay here of Brian Provo, he's right behind Jamie Lipke. And Brian Provo's been struggling this season, which is very uncharacteristic. Oh, Jamie Lipke with some, oh, there he goes. Yeah, right on the backstretch there. Gets that Mustang loose, loses that rear spoiler. And I imagine he's going to be going into pit lane to get that thing repaired. And there you see it. He's on pit lane at the moment. The one nice thing about being a small track like this where it doesn't burn much fuel is that he'll be able to go in and get that car topped off. He won't have to pit again unless he has another accident. It looks like we're back on Jake Ham here, riding along just behind him, I think, with Tyler Justice. Yeah, we're on board with Tyler Justice, seeing if he can run down Ham, who Ham just got by him. And Ham now in that third position, trying to run down Logan Threlkeld. Tyler Justice, I believe, is in the Acura. Yeah, that is the Acura, or McLaren. So you got two McLarens there in third and fourth. So McLarens are looking pretty stout here tonight as well. So it looks like Tyler Justice has got a little, ooh, just behind him there. Jamie Lipke, some kind of incident back there. It looks like there was two cars trying to occupy the same spot going into the hairpin. And we'll see. Oh, and Jamie Lipke, I thought he was towing it, but I guess it's his connection. And there's another car sideways there too. We're going back to see what happened here. As it go, yeah, he just loses it going into the hairpin. I don't know if he got help there. It was a hard angle to see there. Take another look here. And now we're back live here. Oh, yeah. Another car spins out right in front of that Porsche. You can see him as they come up. Skylar Daly just spins out, tows that thing to pit lane. So started in 22nd. You're having a rough night. Nathan Graham back there, 13th, started in 13th, is now up to 7th. As we're now looking at Jason Kristen back there in 15th. And seeing what he can do with that 82 as he's trying to run down. It looks like a Mercedes up in front of him. Trying to get that Acura up there. Yeah, it's a Mercedes. As we look at these time splits between Last, Kristen, and Rice, Tyler Rice, you see these three guys, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like Rice is going to let these guys by. And that Mustang will get by. Back up front, I'm just checking on Jeremy Gardner. He is opening the lead up here. He's got a 3-second lead over Logan Threlkeld. He is just stepping out. The thing about Long Beach and kind of being a full circuit is you can see lap cars just ahead of him, and he's already going to have to start dealing with lap cars. So he's got James Goshen and Brian Provo, who had that accident earlier, just ahead of him. As he comes up over the hill here, headed down into turn 8. Going under the Hyatt Regency down the backstretch here. And so you know, that 3 second lead might seem like a lot, but once you start running into traffic here at this place is so notoriously difficult to pass at that he could be giving up some time as he runs into this traffic. Looking back here at Logan Threlkeld, and he's got Jake Ham right behind him. So back there for second. Jake Ham and Threlkeld, nose to tail. There is some damage to Jake Ham's car. Looks like the back of that McLaren is missing the rear bumper cover. So something has happened to Jake Ham, but that car still looks like it's mighty fast there. But you can see that rear bumper cover missing on that McLaren just behind that Porsche. As they're dealing with the lap car of Eddie Smith. So Eddie Smith now finds himself a lap down. So cars are already starting to fall victim here at Long Beach. As we're riding along with Threlkeld here, looking at the lap car just ahead of him of Eddie Smith. And you can see Eddie Smith lets him by him. Eddie Smith in the Acura, and then you can see Jake Ham gets by him as well. So Jake Ham and Threlkeld stand. You know, one thing I'll say about Jake Ham is, seems like every week we're looking at him, there's either the front bumper cover or the rear bumper cover missing on that car. So Jake Ham, whether he can find the trouble or the trouble finds him, one way or the other. So we look at the front of Logan Threlkeld's Porsche, the Ducky's Porsche. Oh, Bucky's, man. I don't live in that area of the country. I was told that they're a pretty big chain in certain areas of the country, but not where I'm at. So not familiar with it, but if I ever make my way down there, Logan, I'll have to check them out. Meanwhile, Gardner has stretched his lead out. We're looking a little bit further back in the field here. Nathan Graham still making his way up. He's now up to 6, making another pass here. It looks like on Ian Carney. So looks like, and you can see those two are still battling out here as they go into 1 and headed towards the fountain. Nathan Graham's got that position now covered. So Nathan Graham looking to move up. Ian Carney, though, is having a great night himself after starting in 12th. So Ian Carney hasn't given up that much, but he had to give up that position to Nathan Graham. Nathan Graham's got a lap car, or that's Tyler Justice just ahead of him. I thought it was a lap car. So Tyler Justice there is going to be the next victim if Nathan Graham can catch up to him there in that Mustang. And it's about our best 3-car battle on the track right now that I'm looking at. So this is a great battle. And you can see Eddie Smith, who went a lap down earlier, just ahead of him. He was just in the picture. And just going to check on Jeremy Gardner here, see what kind of lap traffic he's dealing with. He's clean. He's clean. So no cars for a while. He's got 12 seconds or so before he catches the next lap car. 13 seconds, Brian Provo. And Brian Provo's fast, so it's going to be a while before he catches him. As he goes through turn 1, down through the fountain here. And then you got this, you got to be careful going into this one here. This is turn 4, and it's very easy to get a little loose. Same here with 5. Actually, all these turns are. The big trick here is you usually don't have any off tracks, you just have wall strikes. So to avoid the wall strikes and keep the tires on the car is your best bet. We're looking at a car on pit lane here. This is Jake Ham. So he was running in 3rd place. And I wonder if this was scheduled for him, if this was his plan. This is going to put him back. But he should be able to make it all the way. I'm not sure if he had an incident or not. Go back and look and see. I don't think so. So this must be a scheduled stop for him. We're now looking at Ian Carney. So Ian Carney now up to 5th after that stop from Jake Ham. These 3 guys are still going at it here. Got Nathan Graham just ahead of him, and then Bobby Germain behind Ian Carney. So this battle is the best one on track right now. And I'm curious to where Jake Ham's going to come out for position here. I'm just looking. So Jake Ham's going to fall back almost back to, it looks like 17th or 18th position after that pit stop. So he's going to have a lot of traffic ahead of him. I don't know if that was the right move, but maybe he had an incident on track that we weren't aware of. As we got a battle here, Ian Carney, it looks like, going into the fountain here. Tyler Justice up in front there in that McLaren. Ian Carney in the Porsche, all over the back of that McLaren, trying to find a way around. This track is notoriously difficult to pass at, so you have to wait almost for that mistake. And it looks like he's going to get on the inside there, almost touch. Whew, that was a close one. So Ian backed out of it wisely. He's going to make another attempt here as they go into 8. Very tricky places to pass. So corner entry passing at Long Beach is very difficult to do, especially if the guy in front doesn't want to give it up. These guys are still battling it out as they go through the final couple of turns. That was turn 9 as they go into 10 here. And then you got that Tyler Justice just ahead of these two guys. But man, what a battle as they go through the hairpin. Oh, and the Audi clips the wall. That was Bobby Germain, I believe. Yeah, Bobby Germain heads to pit lane. So Bobby Germain clipped the wall onto pit lane, so he's going to get that car topped off and get ready to complete this race. So now it's down to a 2-car battle at the moment. Tyler Justice and Ian Carney going at it. So we're looking at Jake Ham right now with Kevin Price just ahead of him. So, it appears that Jake Ham actually passed Kevin Price. So Jake Ham making his way back up after being in third and making that pit stop, trying to make his way back up to the front here. And we'll see what happens after everybody cycles around. We are just about 13 minutes into this race, so really early stop for Jake Ham as we're looking at Samuel Agee right now. Samuel Agee has made his pit stop, I believe, as well. So Samuel Agee running a ways back on the track, currently running in 19th. So Samuel Agee, one of the faster guys on this circuit tonight as well. Doing the time. Another thing I'm noticing about our leader, though, is Jeremy Gardner. His time, ever since he got that 4-second lead, hasn't really changed. So I don't know if traffic's been affecting him. He's got Brian Provo just ahead of him in that black and gold Mustang. And Brian Provo is trying to stay on the lead lap. Brian Provo had that accident earlier, trying to stay out in front of Jeremy, waiting for all these guys to pit and maybe come out with a decent finish here after everyone pits. And this is Brian Provo here, right? The last car on the lead lap. And Brian Provo is not slow by any means. Started in the 7th spot and currently running all the way back in 20th. So, but he's got a lot of guys in front of him that haven't pitted yet. So he's got that to look forward to as long as all these lap cars don't hold him up. We're looking at Jason Black right now, currently running in the 8th position, having a solid night. Got Christopher Scott just ahead of him there, and you can see Christopher Scott in that McLaren, in that orange and blue McLaren just ahead of him. Christopher Scott currently running in that 7th position as they head down towards turn 8. And you got the good old Ferrari versus McLaren battle going on here. Going down towards the Hyatt Regency Center, down under the hotel convention center, and down into turn 9. And I don't think he's going to have anything for him yet. This is such a difficult track to pass at. And you think you can get a run on somebody after the hairpin right here, but it just almost never works out unless they get some wheel spin or anything like that. And you can see as long as they get a solid exit, it is really hard to run that guy down in front. As they head down the front stretch, getting ready to go into turn 1, and you can see Jason take a look there in that Ferrari. You got some guys exiting pit lane they have to be cautious of, and it looks like he's going to get off pit lane clean as they head down through the fountain. And it looks like Christopher Scott is still going to hold on in that McLaren. And about the best thing you can hope for is when you're in a situation like that. If you're Jason Black, as we're looking at Mason Cardinale, one of our race winners this season, last race I believe, he started all the way back in 35th, currently running in 9th. So probably our biggest mover of the race, just gained another position there. So holy crap. Mason Cardinale moving his way up after passing Jamie Lipke there. And now going to be looking at Jason Black, the next position that Mason's going to be looking forward to. Anyway, while we got a moment here, I want to talk about our primary sponsor, and that is MK Fire Design. If it wasn't for MK Fire Design, we wouldn't be able to broadcast this race for you tonight, but MK Fire Design is a design company that specializes in wooden flags, shirts, hoodies, and hats. Company supports first responders and veterans and is owned by a first responder. And it's really cool. If you haven't checked out some of the videos that Pat Dryvik has posted, some of the conventions they went to, and shown off these beautiful flags and stuff that this company makes, you know, you guys need to make sure you go out there, check it out. They're supporting our first responders, supporting our veterans. They're supporting the ability for us to bring these races to you, so make sure you check them out. Thank you, MK Fire Design. Anyway, back to the action here. Gardner has opened up the lead even further now on Logan Threlkeld, as he has just gotten by Brian Provo. So Brian Provo is now the first car a lap down. So Brian Provo having that hard night. Jeremy Gardner, you can see all that traffic in front of him. You know, if I was sitting in the driver's seat, I think this would probably be the last lap I would stay out, looking at all those lap cars that he's approaching. So he's got Samuel Agee ahead of him, Samuel Price, Darren Price, a lot of lap cars in front of him that he's going to have to contend with if he doesn't come down to the lane. So, you know, if he wants to keep that lead open. Speaking of which, it looks like Logan Threlkeld. Logan Threlkeld is dropped off back to third. Not sure what happened to Logan, if he made a pit stop or what happened, but Logan Threlkeld moved him back to third. Nathan Graham is now up to second place. So Nathan Graham, after starting in 13th, heck of a run for Nathan. Logan Threlkeld slips back a spot in that orange and red Porsche. So we're up to our second place guy right now, Nathan Graham, trying to run down Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy Gardner, he's running down some quick lap times right now, trying to run down that Corvette of Jeremy Gardner. So we got American Muscle at the top of the leaderboard right now. The Chevy versus Ford. As we're watching Nathan Graham go through the final couple of corners here, headed into the hairpin. He's got a lap car there, Darren Price just ahead of him in that Corvette. But let's see if Nathan Graham is being able to run down some time, and in fact, I think he is. He's just about 6.5 seconds behind our leader of Jeremy Gardner. So Jeremy Gardner is going to have to start putting some lap times down. He's been able to ride that cushion, but just ahead of Jeremy Gardner, going back to that leader. Jeremy Gardner is about to face some difficult lap traffic here. As he comes around the corner here, you'll see all this traffic ahead of him. So he's got about 5 or 6 lap cars all racing for position. So that's kind of a scary thought. We'll see if Jeremy heads to pit lane on the next cycle by here. So he's got Skylar Daly just ahead of him. That's going to be the first car that Jeremy Gardner is going to have to deal with. Oh, and there is a pileup. Oh, Jeremy Gardner, heck of a avoidance there as that Porsche was sideways there. Looks like Kevin Price got sideways. Jeremy Gardner, good heads-up driving, was able to keep that Corvette out of trouble. As now he's going into the final couple of corners here, still in the midst of all these lap cars. And he's got the Brian Provo following him through all that. Brian Provo, who just went down a lap. Oh, and more incidents in front of Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy Gardner elects to stay out, and he's going to try to get by these. He's got, looks like he's got Bobby Germain just ahead of him. Bobby Germain got a little sideways getting out of the hairpin there, as well as Samuel Agee. So Samuel Agee, Bobby Germain just ahead. And you can see Samuel Agee in the Mustang, as they go into turn 1. So that's going to slow Jeremy Gardner down if he can't make quick work of these guys. As we look at Nathan Graham, I believe Nathan Graham just head to pit lane. So Nathan Graham is going to make that stop, surrender that third place position. And that might be the smart move, because he's going to maybe avoid a lot of this lap traffic that Jeremy Gardner is currently dealing with. Logan Threlkeld has moved back into the second position with that stop that Nathan Graham has made. So, but Logan, he's about 7.5 seconds behind. So Threlkeld has got his work cut out for him, trying to hang on to the podium right now. And Tyler Justice behind him. Tyler Justice is, looks like just a few seconds behind him. As we're looking at Tyler Justice, and it looks like he got by the lap car Eddie Smith there. Tyler Justice having a solid night. I'm sure Tyler Justice would like to make his way to the podium. And one of the secrets about running here at Long Beach is just keeping the car clean, and you usually have a really good finish. And it looks like Tyler Justice, speaking, I mentioned Jake Ham having problems with his McLaren tonight. I don't see the rear bumper cover on that McLaren of Tyler Justice either. So Tyler Justice has obviously had some problems on the track as well. We're looking at the lap car right now of Eddie Smith in that Acura as we ride on board with him. As they go down the front stretch here, and Eddie Smith is not having the night he was hoping for. He's the first car currently a lap down. Now that Brian Provo, as these guys are starting to pit here, it looks like Brian Provo has slipped back. So, excuse me, Eddie Smith trying to be the last car in the lead lap. Although we don't expect to see a caution, so I don't expect Eddie will make his lap back for any reason, but just trying to have a solid night. Eddie's been really strong as of late. Finished second last week. So to see him back here struggling in 16th is a tough break for Eddie. As we're looking at Carney, currently running in that 13th position as we got a battle with Ham, Carney, and Rice, as these guys are all going through their pit cycles as we are almost halfway into this race. Looking at that Porsche come down the front stretch into turn one, all by himself as somebody was getting off pit lane there. That looks like that was Alexander Sexauer. Sexauer just coming off pit lane, and that's one of those tricky spots. You got to do a lot of heads-up driving when you're coming by that pit lane exit area. When you come up there, you hope that these guys exiting pit lane do it cleanly. It looks like our leader is on pit lane finally. I believe that is Jeremy Gardner. Will do his stops. I don't see that car getting jacked up, so it looks like a fuel-only stop. Not quite to the halfway point. I don't know. Jeremy might have seen some lap traffic. That's going to surrender the lead to Logan Threlkeld. That'll be his first laps led tonight. As we were just watching an incident in front of Threlkeld with that Mustang. Threlkeld able to get by without incident there. And good heads-up driving by Threlkeld. As he heads down into turn 8, and we'll see if he stays out. He's got a clean track in front of him. If you're watching this broadcast, Logan, man, stay out there while you got a clean track, and try to get some laps, and hopefully Jeremy will get stuck in some traffic when he comes back out. Anyway, Jeremy has completed his stop, our former race leader, and that's going to put Jeremy Gardner back in about the 8th position, as the top 7 cars have not made their pit stops yet. So Jeremy Gardner got the service done on that car, and he doesn't have much lap traffic in front of him. So Logan, it's a matter of if he can make some distance. But another guy that we talked about, I want to check on Nathan Graham. Nathan Graham currently running back there in that 9th position. Nathan Graham came into the pits in 2nd place, had about a 6-second deficit on our race leader, who at the time was Jeremy Gardner. And I'm not sure, I'm looking at the timing right now, and it looks like he might have lost some significant time back there. I'll have to check as our timing and scoring comes around the start-finish line here. But Nathan Graham looking, Jeremy Gardner. Oh, no, he has made up some time. So he is almost about 5.5 seconds behind Jeremy Gardner. So that was 1st and 2nd before these pit cycles started. So Nathan Graham is making time. As a matter of fact, you can see Jeremy Gardner just ahead of him as he entered turn 1 there and headed for the fountain turn. So Nathan Graham clearing some traffic. There's Gardner going by, and Gardner there in that white Corvette approaching some lap traffic. So Gardner is going to feel some pressure, I believe, here momentarily. Gardner's got James Goshen there in that black Corvette just ahead of him. And we'll see if Goshen cuts him some slack, and he does, and allows Gardner to go by in the 2 Corvettes. So the Chevy versus Ford battle is about to heat up, I believe, once these guys start making their pit stops. Another guy we haven't talked about is Christopher Scott. Christopher Scott currently in the 2nd spot, running that McLaren. Started in 16th, having a solid night. So Christopher Scott hasn't made his pit stop yet, so he obviously won't stay in that position, but having a solid night, so he isn't going to go back too far as long as he keeps that car clean. And while we're talking about Christopher Scott. One of the things that I like to do every week, I didn't do it last week, but I'd like to do it this week, is our car of the week. And as I go through my notes here trying to find the McLaren, so the McLaren is an interesting mid-engine car. So it's a car I haven't driven yet, although the McLarens are something that I would probably be into, being that it is McLaren. But the McLaren 720S GT3 Evo is an evolution of the 720 GT3 customer race car, introduced in 2023 to improve its performance and drivability in major GT3 class championships. It was developed by McLaren customer racing based on the production 720S. The key features are a twin-turbo V8 powered by a race-prepped version of the M840T, a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine found on the road car. Focuses on reliability and consistent performance rather than maximizing peak horsepower, which is managed by balancing the BOP rules in IMSA. As we watch him, we just watched that McLaren go into pit lane. We're looking at Tyler Justice's McLaren as he's currently riding along there in 10th place. So Tyler Justice, who started in 6th, finds himself now back in 10th place. Bunch of guys in front of him have yet to make their pit stops. Logan Threlkeld still out front, still leading this thing by 26 seconds, but we'll see where that shakes out once he makes his pit stop. Like I said, these guys can go about 40 minutes, and we're not even halfway into this thing. So as long as Logan Threlkeld has got a clean track, you know, I think it'd be prudent for him to stay out. I don't know. I'm not driving the car, and I'm not that familiar with the Porsche. As we're looking at Gardner's, so Gardner's in a mess of lap traffic here. So as he's looking at Jamie Lipke right now, about to go a lap down. Oh, excuse me, Jamie, don't hate me. So you're racing for position. So Jamie Lipke, who hasn't made his pit stop, but they are racing for position. So she isn't going to be able to, she isn't going to give it up immediately to Jeremy Gardner. We'll see what happens here as they go through the final couple of corners here. As they get ready to go into the hairpin, and this is just such an impossible place to try to get a run on anybody. If she can, oh, they make a little contact. Jeremy Gardner did not push the issue. Very kind of Gardner. He could have run into the back of her and sent her sideways, but he didn't do it. And so great job. Yeah, and there is a lot of connection issues there with Jamie Lipke there, so that could be part of the problem that Gardner's fighting. And when you're looking at a car blinking in front of you, it's just not the most comfortable feeling, especially when you know you're the race leader, and especially know you had Nathan Graham starting to run you down in that Mustang. So this is definitely something that Gardner doesn't need right now, as he's just got the worst possible situation. And we're looking at another car, Nathan Graham on pit lane for the second time. So you can see that he just got a quick repair. So Nathan Graham had a tough break. I'm not sure what happened to Nathan there, but he had an incident out on the track there that we didn't catch, and that's going to send him back. So tough break for Nathan. So that's going to maybe take some pressure off Jeremy Gardner if he knows what's happened. But it's hard to say whether Jeremy Gardner was keeping close track of him on the relative, but I imagine he was. And you can see that Jeremy Gardner still has not been able to get by Jamie Lipke. Jamie Lipke, as they go through the hairpin, and this is where they touched before, and you just can't get the run. You can see a little bit of tire smoke, and I think that was Jeremy trying to get a run off the corner, just could not do it. And I think he's going to be stuck with waiting behind her until she makes her pit stop. So we'll see what happens here as Jamie Lipke stays out for another lap. Meanwhile, Threlkeld, our leader, who hasn't made his pit stop. We're watching this battle between Gardner and Lipke, but Threlkeld just got by some lap traffic. Oh, just a tough moment. Gets high up on the curbs. He's going to have to let Tyler Brown go back by. It looks like, no, that's Christopher Scott. Christopher Scott went back by and then so it looks like Threlkeld all over the place as they go through the hairpin, just trying to keep track of the lap cars that are around him. So almost a serious moment there for Threlkeld. So he's going to give up a little bit of time on the track over that incident. So it looks like Gardner finally got that position away from Lipke. And you can see him back there. Lipke back there in that silver Porsche, that silver and green Porsche. And so that's going to allow Gardner to maybe stretch his legs. Oh, and just behind Lipke, there was an incident there. It looked like a car went into the wall. I want to say that was Burke. Zachary Menace in the Corvette overshot the runway there. And that's going to send him a little bit back further. As we look at the replay here, just missed his braking zone, I believe. He's probably looking at the back of her car and then just, yeah, overshot it. And there's a nice little run out there. So he didn't do any damage to that Corvette, but that's going to hurt his positions and send him back there, currently running in the 17th position. Meanwhile, Jamie Lipke is going to make her pit stop. So that 16 car is currently on pit lane, and probably Jeremy Gardner wished that she would have made that pit stop a little earlier. We'll see where Jeremy Gardner shakes out, but with that incident Nathan Graham had him. Oh, there's incident behind Jeremy Gardner with some lap cars, but as we ride along with, looks like Tyler Justice, excuse me. Tyler Justice and Ian Carney back there. So these two guys are back together. Ian Carney back there in that silver, blue, and black Porsche. Ian Carney, new to the league, I believe, this week. Having a solid night, currently running in that 6th position. So trying to find a way around Tyler Justice. So far, not doing it just yet, but I think both these guys may have made their pit stops and on their way to completing this race, as we're a little over halfway. As they go through the hairpin here, oh, and you can see right there, Ian gets a little sideways in that Porsche. It's very hard to get on the throttle there, but good recovery. The Porsches are known for spinning out with that rear engine. If you get too far past the slip angle in those things, sometimes they're unrecoverable, but that's a good slow corner, and he recovers it, but he gave up a bunch of time. As we can see, Tyler Justice now now we're looking at Tyler Rice. Tyler Rice now looking at a position right now. It looks like Tyler Rice has got Matt Lass just ahead of him there in that Mercedes. Matt Lass is somebody we haven't talked about tonight, so Tyler Rice looking to maybe make 12th position up on that Mercedes. Mercedes has been, I've raced a bunch of Mercedes here at Long Beach, and Mercedes are known to be strong here. I think the Corvettes and Mercedes are a couple of the best cars for this track, although the Mustangs looked really strong here tonight as well. And while we didn't mention Matt Lass too much, looking at his Mercedes, and as Tyler Rice has followed him along as they go down the front stretch, another guy we haven't talked about too much tonight is our second place guy, and that's Jason Black. So Jason Black running a Ferrari is currently running in the 2nd position. Oh, I take that back. So it looks like Logan Threlkeld is finally giving up the lead to Jeremy Gardner. So Threlkeld has made his pit stop and surrendered that lead, and that's going to move Threlkeld back. Jake Ham is currently in the 2nd position. So what a turn of events, what pit cycles will do. So Jake Ham just about 9 seconds behind our leader, Jeremy Gardner. So Jeremy Gardner's got a little bit of breathing room. And Jeremy Gardner's just got to do what he's been doing and just avoid the incidents that are happening in front of him. And he might be able to pull this one out and be our 5th different winner of the season. As he does have some lap traffic just in front of him. He's got Tyler Rice and Mason Cardinal just ahead of him. Mason Cardinal, a race winner last week, I believe it was. So one of our race winners about to go a lap down. As we watch these guys go through the hairpin here. Just want to give another shout out to, well, we're looking at Tyler Rice now. Tyler Rice currently running in the 14th position in that Mustang. Having an okay night after starting in 22nd, so he's made up a bunch of positions so far for having a solid night. Another Mustang driver currently running in the 9th spot is Nathan Graham. Nathan Graham, we talked about him earlier, having that incident. Having 2 incidents tonight, making 2 pit stops, currently running in the 9th place. Trying to overcome adversity right now. He's got Eddie Smith just behind him. I believe that was a pass for, no, that was Dustin Wells that he just passed for position. But Nathan Graham trying to make his way back up. He's got, oh, he just did pass Eddie Smith. So excuse me, I was correct on that. So Eddie Smith back there in that red Acura. So Nathan Graham trying to make his way back up, but he's only got about 23 minutes to get it done. So he's got quite a deficit. He's almost a full minute behind our race leader. That's what those incidents will do to you. So one of the other sponsors, one of the great things about being part of Goat Locker is our support for veterans, and I'd like to talk about Save 22. Save 22 is a great organization helping our veterans. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Their unwavering support or mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. Save 22. They're great. They've been with Goat Locker for quite some time. They support all the races here. Well, it's such a privilege working with all these organizations and all these organizations that support our first responders and veterans. You can't ask for a better place to race and communicate with, like with on Discord. Big support groups there on Discord. These guys are just a lot of fun to be around, and a great group here at Goat Locker. Whew. We're looking at Tyler Justice right now, currently running in that 4th position. Got Threlkeld, who was leading this race, made his pit stop. Threlkeld trying to hang on to a podium in the Porsche just ahead of him. He's got Ian Carney behind him, so Tyler Justice being the car in the middle in that sandwich, trying to run down Threlkeld. Threlkeld was really strong during practice, kind of faltered there at the first 20 minutes of the race. Finds himself under threat of losing a podium as that McLaren looks like he might be gaining some time on him just a little bit here as they enter the final couple of corners going into the hairpin. Oh, and just an incident just in front of Threlkeld there. I believe that was Zachary Minnis there sideways on the track there. Tyler Rice, excuse me. Tyler Rice sideways on the track as he gets that thing collected and back out there. But you can see Threlkeld there in the Porsche headed down the front stretch with those 2 guys behind him. Would like to run him down, but Threlkeld's super strong. I think Tyler Justice is going to have his hands full with Ian Carney back there in that Porsche, who's been stuck to him for the last 10 laps or so. As they go through 4 and 5 here, you can see they hold it together. It looks like Tyler Justice opened up on that Porsche just a little bit. Looks like Ian slipped back maybe 5 or 6 car lengths now. And that gives Tyler Justice some breathing room maybe to focus on that Porsche just ahead of him of Logan Threlkeld. So they go into turn 8 here and down the backstretch. We'll see if any of them gets a run. You can see that that gap there that Threlkeld's got, 1.2 seconds. We'll see if that closes up as they head towards the hairpin here. And you can see it close a little bit in the braking zone. But I don't know, that Porsche looks really strong. He's been strong on the exit of that hairpin. We'll see if that gap opens back up a little bit on the front stretch. And you can see, yeah, just a little bit there. Not by much. They're pretty much pacing each other, pretty steady right now. So it looks like you got 3 cars pretty much under a blanket there. Can't do much with each other. We'll see as the tires bake off this thing with 20 minutes to go if Tyler Justice or Ian Carney or even Christopher Scott has anything for these guys. Going through the fountain turn, got a McLaren off pace. That's a lap car right now as all 3 of these guys get by, doing the right thing, letting them get by. And oh, there we go. Tyler has got a run. Tyler Justice getting a run on Threlkeld right now. He's closed up that distance by about half from the last time they were through. And Threlkeld is about to find himself under all kinds of pressure right now as they go into the back stretch here under the Hyatt. And they got a lap car just ahead of them there. They got Matt Lass in 13th. So lap car that they're about to approach could factor into this battle here for 3rd place. As they approach the hairpin, this would be a good place for Matt Lass to let these guys by, and it does. It looks like he does. Matt Lass goes wide in the middle of the hairpin. Not the best place to do it, but It does let him by, and you can see just behind him, you got Ian that wants by, flashing his lights. Hey, let me by too, man. I'm part of this race. I want a piece of these guys. And but that did allow Threlkeld a little bit of breathing room, a few car lengths at least, and Ian to close back up on Tyler Justice. Another thing that I mentioned, last time we mentioned our two leaders, Jeremy Gardner and Jay Cam. Jay Cam has closed that distance to 6.5 seconds. I'm not sure if Jeremy Gardner has gotten himself wound up in lap traffic while we're talking about this 3-car battle back here, but Jay Cam has been able to close that distance a little bit on Jeremy Gardner. As you can see that Jeremy Gardner does have some lap traffic that he's contending with. You can see Jay Cam just about 6 seconds behind him. And with 18 minutes to go, that's actually enough time at a place like this, especially with lap traffic. And Gardner right now got by Mason Cornell, last week's winner, and he's got Jason Black just ahead of him in that Ferrari. So, oh, the Ferrari gets a little sideways there. We'll see if that Ferrari lets him go. And of course, Jason Black and Mason Cornell are racing for position, so that's always tough for the leader to deal with when you got two cars racing for position. And yeah, that Ferrari is going to let him by, but that's also going to let Cornell get that position. That's one of the disadvantages by being kind. So you were kind to your opponent as well. We're back at this 3-car battle here with Threlkeld, Tyler Justice, and Ian Carney. So best battle on the track right now. Oh, just behind him, you can see a couple lap cars getting into the wall there. I want to say that was, yeah, I don't know who that was, but that blue Corvette back there. I thought it might have been somebody on the lead lap, but it wasn't. But anyway, this 3-car battle is really shaping up to be a fine one as we enter the final stretch of this race. And we'll see if Tyler Justice can get back up to Threlkeld in that Buc-ee's. I'm going to get that right. And he does. He does run him a little bit better. That McLaren seems a little stronger in this section of the track. But Threlkeld, after the hairpin, has been able to stretch his legs out and get away from Tyler Justice. And then the Porsche behind Tyler Justice, which is Ian Carney, has been able to run down Tyler Justice. So it looks like the two Porsches are strong in particular corners where the McLaren's a little weak in those corners, and vice versa. So that's one of the neat things about running GT3 with 11 different cars that you can run. They all got their characteristics. They might set the same lap times, but how they get through the corners and where they're strong and where they're weak are two different things, especially depending on the track. As we go down the front stretch, and you can see that Threlkeld did open up on that McLaren a little bit as they go into one. We'll see if that McLaren closes that distance back. This is where the McLaren, right after the fountain, seems to be stronger than the Porsches. And we'll take a look here as we're looking at Tyler Justice. He's in that blue McLaren just behind him, that blue, black, and white. We'll see if he can run down Logan Threlkeld. Right here is where he usually closes the gap. And it looks like he is closing the gap a little bit, not quite as much as the last lap. And it looks like these guys are just maintaining their distance right now. It's just a little over a half second behind Logan Threlkeld, as they're going to have some lap traffic once again to deal with just ahead of them. Threlkeld looks like he got a little sloppy through that corner. It's going to allow Tyler Justice to run him down as they head down into turn 9 here under the Hyatt. So they're going into turn 9, can't quite get there. So a little slip up by Threlkeld allows that McLaren to catch right back up. And Threlkeld's quite a ways behind Jake Ham, who's in second place. So this is just the battle for the last podium spot, which is, like I said, the best battle on the track. Jake Ham has made up another second on Jeremy Gardner, who's currently our leader. So Jake Ham is running Jeremy Gardner down quickly. So I don't know if Jeremy Gardner might be saving tires or just running into traffic or what's going on. But Jake Ham is looking really quick in that McLaren, while we're looking at Jeremy Gardner now in the Corvette, just getting by some lap traffic. Just behind him there, you see Mason Cardinell, one lap down in that Porsche just behind him. That gap closing up right now. You can see it there on your timing screen on the lower right-hand corner. Just a little under 5.5 seconds is that lead that Gardner's got, and you know that Gardner's got to be looking at that relative, and that's what Jake Ham needs to do here. He needs to keep running that time down so Jeremy Gardner's checking that relative, and which is basically the same thing as checking your rearview mirrors. If you're looking at that relative all the time, you're really not focusing on the track. So I guarantee you that Gardner's looking at that relative, trying to figure out where Ham is catching him. As we're back at this 3-car battle with Logan Threlkeld, Tyler Justice, and Ian Carney. Ian Carney back there in that Porsche, that 3rd car in line, as these 2 go through the hairpin, or these 3, and down the front stretch. And still, nobody can find a way around each other. So they're doing their best, but no dice. Just looking at something here. Jamie Lipke saying it's going to be interesting. So I was just looking at some of our chat on YouTube. You know, if you're liking the broadcast, you know, here on VSPEED, make sure you like and subscribe. It gets Goat Locker out there. It allows the algorithm to pick up these videos and these races, and puts Goat Locker and the things that we do for veterans and first responders. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and get in there and chat and say hi. You know, sometimes I try to get on there as much as possible. Sometimes I miss it. So last week I wasn't very good at it, so I apologize. But I can tell you Shasta Jewel was said good evening and wishing everyone a good luck for tonight's race. And Kevin Price got in there and said he had some issues with the wheel, and looks like his race was done. So that was some of our chat for tonight's YouTube as we're watching this 3-car battle go on here. Threlkeld getting by some lap traffic right now. Threlkeld just got by. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking for the lap traffic. I don't even see it, but you got Tyler Justice. Looks like it got by Skylar Daly. Just let them all by. So, and Darren Price. So Darren Price and Skylar Daly were the lap cars that those guys were dealing with. And looks like they're all by him now and allowed to race. So it looks like Threlkeld has got Jason Black just ahead of him. You can see that orange Ferrari or red Ferrari just ahead of him. That's going to be the next set of lap cars that they're going to have to start to deal with. See if these lap cars can play a factor in anybody getting a position right now. While we're looking at these 3, nothing has really changed with our leaders. That gap is now maintaining. So we're just watching this 3-car battle right now because, like I said, it's the best battle on the track. And it looks like Skylar is going to let these guys by cleanly. So, or I should say that's Jason Black back there, and that I don't want to screw up these names here, but I'm doing a good job of it tonight. Jason Black in that Ferrari lets these guys by. So Threlkeld, Justice, and Carney, still no positions to be had here. We're winding this down. We got a little over 10 minutes to go in this race. So depending on where the leader crosses the line at the end of this thing, whether we go 12 minutes or 11 minutes, it's going to be the key. But if they got anything in the tank, now's the time to show it. As we're watching Cardinell right now, who's 1 lap down, working on Jamie Lipke for position. So Jamie Lipke, both Porsches right there. You can see Jamie Lipke just ahead of him as they go through the fountain. This is for position. So another good battle here on the track. Cardinell is super strong, as well as Jamie Lipke. He's been strong all year. These 2 cars are the first cars a lap down, in fact, racing for position. So we've only got 9 cars on the lead lap. That's what the attrition's been here this race, and just shows how difficult it is here. As I go through turn 8 here and down the back stretch under the Hyatt, and it looks like nobody's really got the advantage as they run down, and it looks like you can see the leader just ahead of him, Jeremy Gardner. But another great battle on the track. The battle for third hasn't really changed. Those 3 guys are still under a blanket. So we're watching these 2. See if Cardinell's got anything for Jamie Lipke as they go down the front stretch. We'll see if he can get him in the braking zone, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. This is such a difficult spot on the track. It seems like as long as this straightaway is, you can see, take a peek. Cardinell takes a peek to the inside. Nothing, trying to fake him out. Jamie Lipke, gets into the tire barrier there a little bit. You can see Cardinell trying to get by, but Jamie holds on to it. And Jamie, you can see that car flashing in and out. And again, now Cardinell's having to deal with that blinking car, Jamie Lipke, not having the greatest luck with connection tonight. And that's scary, trying to get around a car that's blinking like that. Cardinell trying everything he can, trying to get Jamie in his head, and there you go. Jamie is going to surrender that position, so give that 10th place now to Mason Cardinell. So a tough battle there dealing with that blinking car, Jamie Lemke. But Jamie able to hold on to that. Got a little bit of fender damage after hitting the tire barrier. That might have slowed her down as well, but give that position to Mason. Looking at Jake Ham, second place is actually falling back now a little bit. About a 6-second deficit on our leader, Jeremy Gardner. So Jake Ham, that time is starting to fall off a little bit now. He's got Jamie Lipke, like I said, that blinking car just ahead of him. So Jamie Lipke, who we were just talking about. We'll see if Jake Ham has got anything left, but I don't know. Time is running out, and it looks like Gardner has stepped it up a little bit. Or maybe Jake Ham is starting to have to deal with this traffic that Gardner had to deal with. And that's going to slow Jake Ham down as Jake Ham loses another half second to Gardner, who we're now looking at. So Gardner just gets by the lap car, Dustin Wells, and that puts the 9th place car a lap down. Dustin Wells just behind him, running Austin Martin as we watch Jeremy Gardner go through turn 7, headed towards turn 8 as we ride along on board in that white Corvette. Going around turn 8, very tricky corner. Got to be careful not to hit the walls and not to spin the rear tires. Go under the Hyatt here and head off into turn 9. And that Corvette is looking super strong tonight with that 6.5 second lead over Jake Ham. Jake Ham, though, having a solid night. Jake Ham has had a solid race. He's basically been in the top 10 almost every race, I believe, so far this season. But this is the first time I've seen him in the podium. So Jake Ham having a really solid night. Back on this 3rd place battle with Logan Threlkeld. Got Tyler Justice just behind him. Tyler Justice trying to get some pressure on. He knows time is winding down, but that McLaren just can't get through that final hairpin as well as Logan can. But there's always hope when we get towards the back here. That's where that McLaren seems to be the strongest as we head down to turn 1. We'll see if that McLaren can run him back down. Ian Carney has dropped off to about 15 car lengths. You can see that Porsche off there in the distance, but Ian Carney's dropped off a little bit. We're basically looking at a 2-car battle right now for that last podium spot. As they're now down through the fountain, headed through 6 and 7 here, as they head towards turn 7. We'll see if that McLaren, you can see that McLaren closes in a little bit, and this is where the McLaren's been the strongest. And you can see him will run a little bit wider line through there. Usually I've seen him run a little bit to the inside. And we'll see if he can make up any time through here. Not quite. It looks like those two guys are kind of stagnant at the moment. So, and Logan's been strong up through this section. So once he gets to turn 9, Logan seems to be able to open those wings back up and get that Porsche stretched out a little bit. As Logan goes through the hairpin here, nothing doing. It's such a difficult place to get a run on anybody, and it's not going to happen here as we watch a couple cars just behind him get into the wall there. Tricky turn. Then you can see the number 30 of that yellow and red Porsche, Logan Threlkeld, having a solid night. Started in 3rd, currently running in 3rd. I mean, you can't ask much more for that, especially with the speeds that Jeremy Gardner was running. Gardner was just on fire during practice with the fastest lap time. In fact, Gardner had the only 18 on the circuit tonight, so nobody was even close to Jeremy Gardner's lap time. But Logan Threlkeld was up there in the top 3, along with a couple other guys. So Jake Ham, though, Jake Ham is having another impressive night, like I mentioned. Currently running in 2nd. Jake Ham started in 4th. And trying to find any speed left in that McLaren of his, but I don't know. He doesn't really have the time at this point, so Jeremy Gardner's got a 6.5 second lead. And with 5 minutes to go, a little under 5 minutes, I don't know. Jeremy Gardner's going to need to have an incident on track, and that's all that Jake Ham can do right now is just to hope that Jeremy Gardner has an incident with lap traffic or maybe strikes a wall. But Jeremy Gardner, you see, take a look at that Corvette. That Corvette doesn't have a scratch on it that I can tell. And so, which is very difficult to do here at Long Beach. But Jeremy Gardner's done it. So far, I don't want to jinx him as he goes through the fountain. Getting through the final couple of turns here, 4 and 5. And you can see that Corvette is just lighting it up tonight. It's always nice to see one of those Corvettes up front tonight. So it looks like at this moment, Cardinal is he's a lap down. Mason Cardinal, I mentioned that earlier. I don't want to take the camera off Jeremy just yet, but Mason Cardinal is our only other race winner that's on the track tonight. We've had 4 different winners. If Jeremy Garner can hang on to this thing tonight, Jeremy Garner will be our 5th different race of the season, and that just our 5th different race winner of the season. That just shows you how strong the GT3 series that we have here at Goat Locker has been. It's nice to see that diversity. As we're looking at Zachary Minnis here, Zachary Minnis currently running in 13th. Zachary Minnis has got Jason Black just ahead of him in that red Ferrari there, you can see, and this is for position. Well, excuse me, Jason Black just ahead of him there in that red Ferrari. And Corvette versus Ferrari right now as they go through the final couple of corners going into the hairpin here. And that Ferrari gets wide almost into the wall, but so does the Corvette. So both those guys at a disadvantage coming out of that hairpin in such a tricky corner to get the power down, especially on old tires. And especially in the rain. As we go back to Tyler Justice's battle for 3rd. Like I said, this is for the last podium spot as we only have a couple minutes left. Probably about another lap or 2, and we're going to get the white flag. And if Tyler Justice has got anything for Logan, now's the time. This is where Tyler Justice has been the strongest section of the track for that McLaren. Does run him a little bit down here, swings that thing out wide again, headed down into turn 8. They are going to have a lap car just ahead of them. That lap car is going to be Jamie Lipke. Jamie Lipke was blinking a lot for our leaders as our leaders lapped him. So as these guys run down Jamie Lipke, Jamie Lipke could play a factor into these 2 guys racing. We'll have to wait and see. It is about the best battle on the track. Nothing going on with the lead as long as Jeremy Garner keeps it clean. So those 2, our top 2, are just kind of running out there by themselves. So this battle for 3rd is it right now. As we got approximately about 2 laps to go. Logan Throkeld always, after the hairpin, is always super strong after that. So you can see him just outrun that McLaren down the front stretch. And as they head towards the fountain turn, we'll see if that McLaren can run him down. Next time our leader crosses the line, I believe our leader will get the white flag as we got 1:13 left. So the leader should get the white flag next time by. So he's only got about a lap and a half. They got a lap car that just spun out in front of him as they go by him. But Jeremy Gardner now headed down the backstretch for the second up to the last time here. Going into turn 9, this will be the final lap for Jeremy Gardner as he comes towards the hairpin. And he gets through the hairpin nice and clean, gets that Corvette planted, and this is going to be the final lap. I expect to see the white flag. White flag is out. Last lap for Jeremy Garner. Pretty much led all the laps of this race except for the midsection where Logan Throkeld was able to take advantage of an early pit stop by Jeremy Gardner and led maybe 5 or 6 laps of this race. Now Jeremy Gardner back in control, been in control pretty much the whole race. Avoided some incidents with lap cars. We're looking back at second place right now. Jake Ham currently running about 6 seconds back. So this is our top 2. Throkeld and Justice just behind him are still battling it out, but those positions haven't changed. Matter of fact, Throkeld has opened up the gap a little bit. So Throkeld in a little bit safer position as they head down towards the back section of this track. Oh, and Throkeld almost has a moment there as he had a spun out car there. I believe that was James Goshen there in the 22. Anyway, they head back through turn 7. We're back on our leader as he's going through the backstretch for the final time into turn 9. Turn 10, Jeremy Garner in the Corvette. Shows the oval driver, shows that he can race on road course. Here he goes through the front stretch the final time. Jeremy Gardner will win this race here at Long Beach, our 5th different winner of the season. Congratulations, Jeremy Gardner. Back to the second place, Jake Ham. Jake Ham currently crossing the start-finish line will inherit second place. I shouldn't say inherit, or will race for second place. Great job for Jake Ham. And there you go. The battle for third is over. Logan Throkeld gets that top podium position over Tyler Justice, who will get fourth, with Ian Carney rounding out your top five. Whew, that was a lot for me to say. Jeremy Gardner, though, your race winner for tonight, 5th race of the season. Jeremy Gardner gets it done. He wanted it done at VIR, but VIR was a rainy, night-filled mess. He needed a flashlight and an umbrella, but he gets it done here in the dry, in the morning in Southern California. Jeremy Gardner, well, what a heck of a race as he celebrates his victory lap in that beautiful Corvette coming down through the backstretch here. And I'll tell you what, after our commercial break, we're going to talk to our top three. We're going to have our unofficial results, and we'll bring that all back to you momentarily right here on VSPEED.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
We're back live at Long Beach with our unofficial results. Jeremy Gardner started on the pole, never looked back. Jeremy Gardner is our race winner tonight. Strong performance. Jake Ham, another great finish for him in that 85 machine. Logan Throkeld will wrap out your top three after starting in third, finishes in third. Tyler Justice with a strong run. Ian Carney, new to the league, will finish in fifth. Nathan Graham finishes in sixth after some tough adversity he had to overcome. Christopher Scott finishes in seventh. Eddie Smith will stay on the lead lap by the skin of his teeth and finish in eighth. Mason Cartnell, last week's winner, will finish in ninth. Jamie Lipke wraps out your top 10. Jason Black finishes in 11th. Zachary Minnis will finish in 12th. Justin Wells finishes in 13th with Matt Last behind him in 14th. Tyler Rice will finish in the 15th position. Jason Kristen will finish in 16th. Skylar Daly finishes in the 17th position with Tyler Brown in 18th. Samuel Aggie had a tough night after starting in second. Will finish in 19th. Alexander Sexhauer finishes in 20th. In 21st will be Darren Price, with James Koshin finishing in 22nd. Wesley Burke will finish in 23rd, with Bobby Germain getting that 24th position. Brian Provo, tough night for him after starting in 7th. Will finish in 25th. Kevin Price, 26th. Sammy Yosef in 27th. Joshua Unger will finish in 28th with Lucas Lyons, the last car in the field tonight, finishes in 29th. Wow. What a race here at Long Beach. And we didn't have that turn one caution that we're always worried about. But let's not talk about that. Let's bring our race winner up. Jeremy Gardner, Ken Huber in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, Oval Driver showed all these road course pros how it's done. Explain to me how you did that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even think I stood a chance of winning. I know this track could be chaos, especially people trying to get in the corners a little bit harder in the car in front of them. But man, it feels good to finally get a win. Been finishing second, third, fourth, whatever. Man, I don't know. I just felt like I was on top of my game tonight. After practice, I felt good. So
well, you're the 5th different winner this season. I was looking at the points right now, and you're sitting second in points. And of course, our points leader, Tyler Merritt, wasn't here tonight. So I think that's going to allow you to inherit the points lead after tonight's race. Don't know. We have a couple drop weeks, but we'll see how that all shakes out. But great job. I'm curious, though, your pit strategy. You went in earlier than I expected. So I was calling the race, and I was watching you come up on a bunch of lap cars that were racing. And I was thinking, okay, well, now would be the time for you to come in. But instead, you stayed out, and there was a couple incidents that happened right in front of you, and I was like, "Oh my God, he stayed out." I mean, what were you thinking? Why did you stay out as long as you did, and go through the lap traffic, or why did you basically pit when you did?
honestly, I don't know. I was just in my zone. I wasn't even paying attention to pit, and I wasn't even paying attention to fuel or nothing. I was just in the zone. So, I mean, honestly, probably a part of it is pulling up on lap cars, just slower cars and stuff, which honestly scared the hell out of me tonight. I was just doing my thing tonight, just trying not to get loose out of the corners and overdrive it. And I think that's probably the most consistent GT3 race I've ran all season so far.
Well,
So,
you look good out there, and you kept that Corvette clean. So next week, we're going to do 2 hours at Daytona. What can we expect out of you in that Corvette?
my wrist's hurting. My wrist's hurting. I don't know. I like
get-
Daytona road course.
Yeah. 2 hours. You up for the endurance race? It's going to be interesting. We got random weather. We don't know if it's going to rain. Don't know the lighting conditions and all that. So,
Yeah, I can only imagine what old Tim Jones is going to throw at us next week. I can't.
well, I think
imagine.
after VIR, we all learned a lesson after that race. So I don't expect to see anything crazy, but you always got to have a heads up, especially at Daytona. There in Daytona, it tends to rain every night there.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, who do you have to thank for getting you this win tonight?
Pat and Jamie, GLR, Tim as well for everything he does for this series. Wigan Tech, my guys at Save 22, my guys Premier Racing Setups. Of course, y'all guys for putting the broadcast on tonight. Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, MK Fire Design. Appreciate them coming on this season, and ZAT Graphics, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna see what we got next week at Daytona.
All right. Thanks. And there was your race winner, Jeremy Gardner. So let's talk to our second place finisher, J-Cam, Ken Huber in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, what a race. You got that McLaren up to second place. I've watched you all season, and you kind of been hanging around the top 10. You've had some incidents, and tonight was no exception. I seen you missing the rear bumper cover. It looked like somebody got into the back of you at some point during the race, but you managed to get that thing home to second. How'd you do it?
Yeah, it's pretty fortunate there. Yeah, before we even came to the green flag there, Bobby got in the back of me, ripped off the bumper and the diffuser. So I was able to kind of hang it together, but really couldn't put the power down, and just kind of bit the bullet and decided to go in a little early, get the fast repair, and take on fuel. And so I carried a lot of extra weight there, the last half. Well, probably the last 3/4 of that race, and I feel like, if I wouldn't have, it would have been a pretty good battle up front with Jeremy. But all in all, a really fun race.
Yeah, it was really great watching you guys, watching all the different cars. We've had 5 different winners so far this season, and the top 3, almost the top 3 every week are all different manufacturers too. So you're in the McLaren tonight. One of the things I want to talk about is I was watching McLarens, not necessarily you, but there was a couple of McLarens behind you that were battling it out with Porsches and stuff like that. And the McLaren seemed to be good on the back part of the track, but when it got on the front straightaway, it couldn't seem to navigate the hairpin very well. Were you having any struggles with that?
Yeah, you can definitely feel the size and overall body of the car just take a little bit more finessing to get around some of the corners. And it looked honestly like pretty much out of every single corner when I was following a Porsche, they were able to put the power down a lot quicker. and kind of take off, and then we would catch up kind of going in, able to break a little bit later. And then again, they would pull away, coming out of the turn. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell on the hairpin quite a bit.
Well, great run for you. One last thing before I ask you, who do you have to thank? But we're going to Daytona for 2 hours next week. Are you going to be in the McLaren next week as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I thoroughly love it. I run the endurance race the 24 hours, and I've actually won it twice. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that race, and it being 2 hours. I'm hoping might be in my wheelhouse a little bit more. So hopefully can take the win. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, who do you have to thank for this podium finish tonight?
GM Printing Promotions, and then we got MK Fire and Design and ZAT Graphics, VSPEED, Alexander PCs, and then always like to give a huge shout out to Mike Browning. He's the one that does my paint schemes. And then obviously Friends of Fan for stopping out, watching the broadcast. You guys for hosting. So awesome to do that. Bill Locker for hosting the series and everything that they do for all the vets out there.
All right. Well, thank you, Jake, and good luck to you next week.
Thanks, sir.
All right. That was Jake Ham. So we're going to bring in our third place finisher, Logan Throkill. This is Ken Huber. Do you have a copy?
I've got a copy, Ken. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fan-freaking-tastic, man. That was a blast.
I know. And you started in third and you finished in third. And actually, you led a good portion of this race, about the half. Jeremy Gardner went into pit lane early, and then you stayed out, which I thought was a smart move. You did lose a bunch of time somewhere early in that race. I was kind of surprised because you were running in second. So I thought you might have something for Jeremy. You slipped back a little, but you were able to hang on to that podium. So how'd your night go over?
Oh, man, it was just overall a super fun race. I had no idea what to expect coming out here with these GT3 cars. I've only broadcasted, I think, IndyCar and maybe the Super Formulas here. So getting out here on the track myself, very, very difficult. I didn't realize just how narrow some of these sections are through here. So keeping it clean, keeping the door off of the car beside you, that was kind of my main focus going through this one. And once we got some clean air there, it was really just hitting marks from then on.
Yeah, and you had a heck of a battle back there with Tyler Justice and Ian Carney towards the end of this thing, or the last half of it. I mean, you did a great job holding those guys off. Where it looked like the Porsche was a little weak on the back half. I was just talking to Jake Ham, the difference between the McLaren and the Porsche. You had a McLaren chasing you, and then there was another Porsche back there. But it looked like the McLaren would run you down in the back half of the track, and then on the front half, like right after the hairpin, you would just pull away.
Yeah, it was certain sections just fit that McLaren a whole lot better. The Porsche, it's typically a really good cornering car, but I think it's just such a low speed track in some of these corners. It doesn't quite have the get up and go that I would expect it to, and I think that's where it really plays in favor of the McLaren. But I can't complain either way. Tyler Justice had a heck of a drive back there behind me, and I know he was really defending against Ian for a lot of that battle. So that kind of helped me keep the Bucky's 30 out in front of him, and just hoping for the best. And I was saving a little bit in the tank for if he got around to me, but I think that would have been very hectic if Justice finally got up to being side by side with me. That could have ended
We were
badly
waiting.
for both of us.
You guys had about the best battle on the track, so there was a lot of screen time that you guys got tonight. And I mistakenly called your car the Ducky's car, so I'll have to apologize for that. My producer was yelling in my ear, "No, it's Bucky's. You need to move down to the areas where they have this place so you know what it is." But
Yeah, Bucky's, man, it's fantastic.
I'll have to check it out. Hey, next week we're doing 2 hours at Daytona. How do you feel about going into that race?
The Daytona 24 was my first ever endurance race, so I'm really excited for it. I love that track. We had a pretty good outcome in that 24 earlier on in the year here, so I did it in a totally different car. Coming out here with the GT3, it's going to be a different beast, but as long as I can just hit the marks like I tried to tonight, I think it'll go pretty good.
All right. Well, it was great talking to you, Logan. Who do you have to thank for getting you this third place finish tonight?
Well, of course, iRacing providing this fantastic service for all of us to join in on. MK Fire Designs, they're also the title sponsor here for the Saturdays. Love that we get to put this on VSPEED. Go back and watch these races. That was a big draw to it. Sim Motion, of course, Goat Locker, you guys up here in the booth, everybody behind the scenes. I know my parents were watching tonight, possibly my little cousin Drake. Big shout out to them, and great win to Jeremy. I think this is the first time he's ever driven this car, so at least it looked like it sometimes. Just kidding. No, fantastic job by him. He drove a hell of a race car tonight.
All right. Well, thank you, Logan, and we'll see what you can do out there next week at Daytona.
Thanks, sir. Have a good one, guys.
There you have it. That was our third place finisher, and what a great race here at Long Beach. Very clean race. We had some spins, we had some excitement, but overall, I got to say that was a really clean race for 30 cars being out there. It just shows you how good these drivers here are at Goat Locker. Is like I'd mentioned, we are getting ready to head into Daytona next week. As we head towards the halfway point of the schedule, we got a couple more races. Daytona, then Laguna Seca, which is another one of my favorites. That one's going to draw out a lot of people. The next two races are definitely going to draw out a lot of people. And then we go to Mid-Ohio, which is actually that's kind of a more technical track, and it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get around that. But with that, I got to thank our final sponsors here tonight. MK Fire Design, who we're able to bring this race to you. MK Fire Design company that specializes in custom wooden flags, shirts, hoodies, and hats. And also a great big thanks to Zach Graphics. We can put your design on almost anything. And then, of course, Save 22, fighting first responder and veteran suicide. On behalf of myself, Ken Huber, Tim Jones on production, and the cameras being provided by Dougie Beard. I bid you all a fair adieu. Have a great evening. Come check us out tomorrow night at the Xfinity race. I forgot where we're at, but we're going to be at Watkins Glen. So another road course race tomorrow night here at Goat Locker, right here on VSPEED. See you guys later. Have a great night.